ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, November 14th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-8255. Coming up today on the program, we're going to preview Marshall and Georgia State. We're also going to take a look at basketball on the road tomorrow, taking on Virginia. We're going to have all those games right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 or on 93.7 The Dog. But today's a different day today. As the fountain ceremony taking place today, it's November 14th for those of you that are part of the Marshall community or are in Huntington. You know the significance of today's date. It's the annual turning of the fountain off to commemorate the day that the Marshall plane crash happened. Here's what it sounded like 55 years ago as the news carried the story.
Another air tragedy involving a football team, and there may be no survivors. This is Bill Maher, Mutual News, New York. Incredibly, there has been another football team plane crash, this one tonight in moderate rain and fog in West Virginia. Here's the story just in from Al Shea, Mutual Station WLOG, Logan, West Virginia.
The Federal Aviation Agency reports a Southern Airways chartered airliner has crashed at Canova, West Virginia. It reportedly was carrying the Marshall University football team, its coaching staff, and several citizens. Only reports did not indicate the condition of those aboard. University spokesman said the plane, a DC-9, was carrying 37 football players. An AAA spokesman says the plane went down 2 miles west of the airport at Canova in moderate rain and fog. The football team was returning from Greenville, North Carolina, where it lost the 17-14 decision to East Carolina this afternoon. The FAA spokesman said the control tower at the airport lost contact with the plane at about 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, about 15 minutes after it was due to land.
And this just in, state police said there are, quote, apparently no survivors among the reported 68 passengers aboard and an undetermined number of crew. A Canova Fire Department official said after the plane hit, it seemed to explode. Once again, this late story just in, state police at Canova, West Virginia now say there are apparently no survivors in the crash of that airplane tonight carrying the Marshall University football team. Harold Levander. And once again, for those of you who have just tuned in, the hour's top story, and a tragedy it is of immense proportions, a DC-9 Southern Airways plane carrying Marshall University's football team, routers, and crew crashed and burned near Canova, West Virginia, early tonight with no evident survivors. That, according to state police and the FAA. Bill Maher, Mutual News, New York.
Good morning, this is Steve Young, CBS News. Officials of the Federal Aviation Agency have recovered intact the flight recorder and voice recorder from the Southern Airways DC-9 jet, which crashed and burned last night in what one witness called a giant ball of fire. Barry Serafin reports the latest from Huntington, West Virginia.
Shock and disbelief are expressed everywhere here following what is believed to be this country's worst air disaster of the year and its worst ever involving a group of athletes. 38 Marshall University football players were among the 73 people believed aboard the chartered Southern Airways DC-9 when it crashed into a hillside just short of the airport runway. Witnesses say the plane hit the top of another ridge before plummeting down in flames. One said she saw a part fall off before the plane hit. Authorities worked through the night combing the debris for bodies. Federal investigators are to inspect the wreckage today. This was the first time this season the Marshall team had flown to a game. On all previous games, they had gone by bus. Memorial services have been scheduled on the campus, and special housing has been set up for the families of the victims of the tragic crash. Barry Serafin, CBS News, Huntington, West Virginia.
When word of the disaster reached the Marshall campus, a co-ed and girlfriend of one of the players was heard to say, "It can't be. It can't be." "It's unbelievable," said a student with 7 fraternity brothers aboard the plane. An 18-year-old defensive tackle on the freshman team who had looked forward to playing next year said, "I lived with them, knew them, and played with them. Now they're gone."
Another another football team in another tragic air crash. John Luther, Mutual News, New York. 2 months ago, there was the tragic western crash of an airplane with members of the Wichita State University football team as part of the passenger list. Now, tonight that is, another football team is involved in another airplane disaster. We called the college, Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia, and a spokesman would only admit the school's team was possibly in the crash.
There were supposedly 68 persons aboard the airplane. They've been unable to find any survivors as of this time. Dozens on the football team as far as we know.
68 persons, or 65, or 75, the number still varies. We called the Tri-State Airport in West Virginia where the airliner went down, and we asked the spokesman what airline it was that plowed into the ground near Huntington, West Virginia.
Southern Airlines DC-9 crashed west of the field here. We've got people out there now, but we don't have any details.
A dreary autumn morning fits the mood of the Marshall University campus. Nowhere does one see any smiles. The sorrow of last night's disaster has exhausted students and officials. This morning there is a quiet pause here as this university of 8,500 students tries to decide what happens next. A university spokesman says the main job is contacting and helping parents and friends of the victims who want to come here to Huntington to be near the bodies of those who died last night. Reportedly, the crash was of such violence that most victims will be difficult or impossible to identify in the armory that police are using as a morgue near the airport. There will be a memorial service here on campus this evening, but for now, except for official meetings, this campus appears to have entered a period of exhausted sleep. Tony Sargent, CBS News in Huntington, West Virginia.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's.
Cold weather's on its way, and what do you want on those cold, chilly evenings? A warm blanket and a hot cup of cocoa. Well, you know who else wants the same comfort? Mice. Messy, uninvited guests. They sneak in and leave droppings, chew through your food and packages. Don't let mice take over your home this fall and winter. Call K&B Pest Control. We will kill for your business. Call today, 304-523-4281.
This fall, let the Car Ferry bring a little magic to your driveway at Mark Porter Auto Group. With locations in Pomeroy, Jackson, Ohio, and Ashland, Kentucky. Want to shop 24 hours a day? Cozy up with a cup of cider and browse our full inventory anytime at markporterautogroup.com. Fall into a safe, reliable vehicle and let the Car Ferry guide you to Mark Porter Auto Group in Pomeroy, Jackson, and Ashland. Or shop 24/7 at markporterautogroup.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with this Friday, November 14th edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's get you set for the game tomorrow. Marshall does have a game against Georgia State, and it's time for the kickoff.
Ladies and gentlemen,
will you take your seats, please?
Here we go.
There's the kickoff.
Tomorrow, Marshall visits Georgia State at Center Parc Stadium in Atlanta for a 2 p.m. kickoff. The Thundering Herd looked to rebound from a 35-23 loss to James Madison in the annual 75 game, which honors the 1970 plane crash that claimed 75 lives. Marshall went 3 for 4 in the red zone with 2 touchdowns and a field goal and finished with 3 field goals overall. Head coach Tony Gibson says that fixing the issue inside the 20 begins with the staff.
Number one, and I told the staff this, I'm not, but we have to be better as play callers on both sides of the ball, and that's myself on defense and Rod on offense. So, what we have to do is capitalize on some matchups and just be better there. We have to open it up a little more. I think we get predictable at times on both sides of the ball, and we're going to have to spread some people out and trust Carlos is going to take care of it.
Offensive lineman Eric Meek says finishing drives has been the offense's biggest hurdle in recent weeks.
Big point in the room and on the offense right now is finishing in the red zone, especially against good teams like JMU and the rest of the guys in the Sun Belt. I think it's important to finish those drives with 7 instead of 3.
Quarterback Carlos Del Rio Wilson says those scoring opportunities are crucial with 3 games left.
I feel like we just got to finish our drives. As y'all can see, the last game, we could easily drive it from the negative 2 yard line, drive it all the way down. But I feel like once we get close, we feel like since we are already there, we could let up a little bit. But we got to work on finishing our drives, knowing that we're not done until we get in the box. So that's what we kind of going to focus on next week, finishing our drives.
Marshall ran the ball well against the Dukes, totaling 248 yards on 50 attempts and averaging 5 yards per carry. Meeks credits that to the offensive line.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with the O-line's performance, and I think we did some good things on offense. Obviously, there's still things to improve, but I was pretty happy with how we gelled as a unit, and even with guys rotating in, I felt like we did a good job replacing the parts that eventually needed replaced.
Antoine Roberts led the Herd with 121 yards and a touchdown on 20 carries. Del Rio Wilson added 73 yards on 23 attempts. Meek says the relationship between the backs and the line drives that production.
I think we've done a good job rolling guys through, and that's a credit to them. I think the O-line does a good job blocking for them, and I think they do a good job making their cuts and making us right at times too. So I feel like us being so close, as 2 separate units, but really coming together as one really helps us gel well in the rushing game.
Del Rio Wilson says he likes the way the team competed, but notes the need to eliminate mistakes.
I say we definitely fought hard. A lot of people showed a lot more fight that game. We just got to still eliminate them mental errors, eliminate penalties, and just execute more fluently.
Gibson says he was pleased with several stretches of offensive execution.
I thought we ran the ball extremely well. Antoine had another good game. Carlos, obviously, he's doing a great job. We took care of the football. That was a positive coming off of that last game.
Several players made their season debuts against James Madison. Tight end Tracy Stevens recorded 2 catches for 18 yards, and Gibson says Stevens adds a different element to their 2 tight end set.
We get in our bigger package with 12 personnel and try to use those guys, and Tracy's athletic. He can catch the football, runs good routes, and it was good to see him capitalize on it. That was not an easy throw or catch. That kid was all over him. And Carlos put it in the right spot, and Tracy finished it. So it was good to see.
One of the highlights came on special teams, where punter Nathan Totten completed a 12-yard pass on a fake punt to long snapper Gavin McGorian. Totten says he was ready for the call.
Well, it was fun. We've been practicing a lot here recently, probably 2, 3, 4 times a week. And so when he actually called, I was a little bit nervous, but I was excited to go out there and throw it and just try throwing the best ball. A little out of practice, I ain't played baseball or any of that since high school, so But I tried throwing my best ball, and he caught it, so it was pretty fun.
Totten is averaging 45.5 yards per punt with 13 kicks of 50 yards or more and multiple punts inside the 20. He says there is still room to improve.
I'm very thankful for how I've done so far this year, but I also feel like I can do even better than I have been doing. But, it's just like every day, your body's not going to be perfect every day, but just trying to be the most consistent I can be and really focus on what I'm doing and trust in others is what I'm really trying to do. And just keep punting, and just putting it where it needs to go and swinging hard is what I try to do.
On defense, linebacker Jalen Marshall returned to action and says the rehab was grueling, but being back on the field was a great feeling.
At first it was really hard. I didn't want nothing to do with football, honestly. But I kind of just changed my mindset into just taking it day by day. It helped out a lot. And, just to finally be back out there was a dream come true. I just really feel blessed.
Gibson says several defenders stepped up in the matchup with the Dukes.
Defensively, I thought Paul Hudson played extremely well again. Tayshawn Jeter, I was proud of him. I thought he went in and did a great job. So,
redshirt sophomore defensive lineman Sid Kaba added 3 tackles and says focusing on having fun helps him play freely.
I see myself just having fun out there, just wanting to ball. I got my opportunity more last game, and I feel like I did good. Now obviously I could have did better with a few things, but looking forward to this week coming up to show what I can do again.
Georgia State enters on a 6-game losing streak and has allowed 40 or more points in 4 of those losses. Wilson says the Herd is preparing the same way as any other week.
We don't never want to underestimate any team. Like you said, they got a record, but that record doesn't define who that team is. So we're not looking at that record expecting to go in there and blow them out. We're still going to take it how we take every team and prepare how we prepare for any other team and go in there and execute.
Meek says the Panthers switch defensive looks frequently.
They got a pretty good D-line. They're physical, fire off the ball. They do some interesting stuff with their schemes, which I think that we'll have a fun time dealing with. I feel like they're a pretty solid group up front.
Gibson says Georgia State brings a physical challenge.
Yeah, they're big up front. They have a couple good-sized interior linemen. Their defensive ends are extremely athletic. Their DBs can lock you up in one-on-one, man-to-man coverage. So they do a nice job. I mean, they're extremely athletic on both sides of the ball. So and obviously they've gave up some points, and we need to have success on offense and finish drives and take care of the football. Because if we don't, then we're going to be in trouble.
Wilson adds that the Herd has worked heavily against the Panthers' man coverage.
A lot of man. We got to, once again, be more physical and aggressive, win one-on-ones, have a lot of man beaters.
Meek says he's confident the offensive line can match Georgia State's physicality.
Pretty athletic. They do some good stuff with movements and twists to kind of throw the O-line off their balance, but I think if we keep progressing the way we have been, we should do well.
Marshall says the Herd must be fully locked in against a team looking to snap its losing streak.
We don't really try to just focus on the record, like you said. You go out there and it could be a whole different team, so we can go out there and just put our best foot on the line and come out the victory. So.
The Panthers' top offensive player is senior wide receiver Ted Hurst, who leads the team with 57 catches for 854 yards and 6 touchdowns. Gibson says the Herd must stay keyed in on him.
He's got a big catch radius. He's long, he's fast. He'll go across the middle. He can take hits. So he's really, really, really good. And their quarterbacks understand that he's good. They get him the ball a bunch. And there's a lot of stuff designed for him. They'll take shots down the field. They'll throw him screens. They'll throw him slants. And we have to know where number one is at all times.
Gibson says Georgia State's offense is balanced with a capable run game complementing the passing attack.
Yeah, their quarterbacks, they play to the Brown kid and Finley. Both of those kids they throw the ball really well. They do have some weapons to get it to. Their wide receiver core is good. And then their run game. I mean, their running backs run extremely hard. So, they do a nice job. They're scoring points just about, against everybody. JMU held them down, but they put up some points against some people, and they've been, you could see every week they're getting better and better and closer and closer. So, we have to do a great job defensively of eliminating the big play. The number 1, number 5, they have some weapons. So.
Marshall needs to win 2 of its final 3 games to reach bowl eligibility. Gibson says that matters especially for the seniors.
What we have to do now I told you guys the other day, we're down to 18 days with these seniors. And what we need to do is we need to enjoy these 18, and we need to play, win some games to get another 18 or 15 or 20, whatever it is with these guys, and finish this thing the right way. We've got too good of a football team, in my opinion, to not make it to a bowl game. And it's going to be great for our program. It's going to be great for our young kids, and it's going to be great for our seniors on their way out. They deserve that, and they've earned that. And now we have to go finish the season the right way and find a way to get a couple more wins.
Cotton says the team knows the next 3 weeks are critical.
Absolutely. We've all seen how good we can be, and we've definitely fallen a little short. We've lost maybe 4 that we could think about that we probably should have won. We've all seen how good we could be and how good we are. We just gotta maintain that. But definitely, we really should win these next 3. But it's going to come down to our focus and our effort and just how much we want it.
Meek says the seniors want to finish as winners and extend their time in Kelly green and white.
Yeah, for us, obviously the goal is to win, so we're trying to aim for that 3 out of 3, which I think is doable. But getting to that bowl eligibility is really important for the guys who it's their last year, not just me, but the other seniors as well. And I think that we have some transfers who haven't been to bowl games, so I think it's important that everyone gets the experience this year.
Marshall looks to go 3-1 all time against Georgia State and pull even at 5-5. When we continue, your text 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, John Garten, 304-525-1116. And in Barbersville, Marcia Slater, 304-736-6100.
Transform your outdoors all year long with Roberts Lawn Care and Landscaping. Family owned and operated, serving the tri-state area with expert landscaping services. From vibrant spring gardens to cozy fall patios and everything in between. Roberts specializes in sustainable landscaping that thrives through every season, residential or commercial. Roberts creates personalized solutions to bring your vision to life. Call Roberts today at 304-633-5822 because your dream yard deserves 4 seasons of care.
It's the biggest savings event of the year. Menards, 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving Day. Save big money on everything you need for any project. We've got something for everyone. Homeowners, contractors, DIYers, the kids, and even grandma. Hurry, Menards 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving Day.
Save big money at Menards.
11% mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See menards.com for details.
Our Kendrick Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Classic Liquors, your adult beverage headquarters in Huntington, Canova. Classic Liquors, simply the best. Smokin' Jay's Rib and Brew House, the Tri-State's best barbecue and ribeye. U.S. Route 60, Ashland, Kentucky. Smokin' Jay's, come fire it up. And Arrowhead Land Company's Team Wit. Call 937-545-7764. Online at arrowheadlandcompany.com.
Kendra Digital and the Marshall Health Orthopedics High School Sports Network proudly present live high school playoff football presented by the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute. This Friday night, the Huntington Highlanders open up the postseason with a matchup against Hedgesville. Catch every play streaming live on this station's Facebook page and on the Cabell County Schools Facebook page. Huntington High versus Hedgesville, only from Kendra Digital Sports. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue on with this Friday edition of Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is now open. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter writes in, Paul, what radio stations will be playing men's basketball and football tomorrow? I appreciate the question. Let me run it down for everyone that might not know or weren't with us earlier on the program. Football is going to be on 93.7 The Dog. So at 11 a.m., we'll be on 93.7 The Dog for our pregame show, and we're going to take you all the way to kickoff and then back here after the game for our post-game show. So that's on 93.7 The Dog. At the same time, Marshall basketball will be getting ready to tip off at noon. We're going to have our pregame for basketball, which is actually going to be the same pregame for football for that first half hour anyway. We're going to be on the air 11 a.m. here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. You can also stream the radio station at WRVC.com. You can get the link to the app. We've got several ways for you to follow the basketball game. So we'll have the basketball game here tomorrow, and we'll go on the air 11 a.m. I'm going to be at Giovanni's, 20th Street. So if you haven't got your order in just yet, plenty of time. You can get that in tomorrow and then come pick it up. And then you can go home and listen to the game. You can watch it, but listen to it. And you can watch either basketball or football. Well, we've got you covered either way. And so if you go to our websites, it's 937thedog.com. You can listen to the game there for football. You can get the app, streaming app there as well. Or if you want to follow basketball, you can follow along on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And again, you can get the streaming app there. I'd even go into the Echo skills, but we got a link for that. So if you've got an Amazon Alexa device, just enable the skill and then just tell her you want to listen to ESPN 94.1 and AM 930, and you play the skill. It's real simple, and you can listen to the game that way. So hopefully that answers everything, and we've got you covered on what you want to listen to tomorrow, football or basketball, or you can flip back and forth and do both. But 11 a.m., that's when we begin tomorrow. Giovanni's, getting those pizzas ready for the game. It always smells good. Where they've got me, I'm right near the kitchen door. So it always smells good coming out. And there's a lot of people doing pickups. So you can come by, pick up, say hi. Just the best place to get a pizza for game day. And that's Giovanni's 20th Street, right across from Marshall University Stadium. The Joan. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is our text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. High school football, it begins in earnest in West Virginia. The playoffs, we have got a lot of action across the region. Coming up tonight at 7, it's going to be also basketball time for the Kentucky Wildcats taking on Eastern Illinois. That's going to be coming up here shortly. You can tune in to 92.7 and 98.5 The Planet or on Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340 if you want to follow along with a little basketball action after the show. Also, we have got coming up tomorrow, it's going to be the Herd, obviously, taking on Georgia State, the Herd taking on Virginia. Kentucky is going to be taking on Tennessee Tech. That is at 1:30, 11:30 airtime on Cat Sports and 92.7 and 98.5 The Planet. Volleyball action going on tonight in Hattiesburg. Thundering Herds already qualified for the tournament. Lost 3-1 last night against Southern Miss, so back at it tonight. Trying to get a little bit momentum before it goes off to the tournament, and that's a step in the right direction for the volleyball team to qualify for the tournament. So we've got some progress going on with the volleyball team, so I'm excited for them. As I mentioned, though, it's going to be a busy weekend for high school football. High school football playoffs this weekend. Spring Valley tomorrow taking on Elkins, and we're going to try our very best to get on the air at 3:30. Depends on how long basketball goes, but I've got a good feeling that it's going to be smooth. We'll finish up with basketball tomorrow, and then we'll go right into football. And so the Spring Valley Timberwolves playing host to Elkins, 3:30 airtime here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. But tonight, if you're looking for a game to tune into, of course, Ashland taking on Fort Thomas Highlands, and that's coming up on our sister station, 97.9 The River. And then we've got the video streaming of Huntington High taking on Hedgesville. That is coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. You can log on right now. Head on over to our Facebook page, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. But there are a lot of other matchups tonight and tomorrow. We've got, of course, are you ready for this? Tulsa at Wheeling Central on Saturday. Mans at Wahama on Saturday. Winfield's at Herbert Hoover on Saturday. I mean, why are high school coaches choosing these Saturdays? I mean, I know travel's a consideration here. Come on, high school should be played on Friday. In Ohio, they're playing football on Friday. Jackson's at London in Division 4 tonight. Barnesville is at Wheelersburg in Division 5. Sims Valley at Hillsdale in Division 7. Russell in 3A will take on Bourbon County, and Lawrence County is hosting Rockcastle County. Raceland playing a Friday game, taking on Nicholas County. So we've got a lot of high school action across the board, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the scores. Hopefully all our area teams will advance. But our game coming up tomorrow, it's going to be Ashland and Fort Thomas Highlands here, and then the video stream tonight on our Kindred Communication family of platforms, digital streaming, Huntington taking on Hedgesville. And Luke Creasy is going to have the call of that one, so I'm looking forward to hearing that and watching the video stream. All right, let's get your text in. We got plenty of time to do that, and we'll do that now. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texture says, Paul, Georgia State is a trap game. Remember what I said tomorrow. Definitely. I'm going to write that down. Appreciate the text. So, trap game for the Thundering Herd? I hope not. I absolutely hope this is not a trap game for the Thundering Herd. It shouldn't be. I mean, Marshall should be mad it lost its 75 game. I'd be mad. You got to put that you got to put that behind you. But I'd be mad as well. Oh, by the way, this reminds me. Speaking of being mad, almost forgot, and I shouldn't because we saw Marshall beat WVU in soccer, but we also saw some shenanigans going on. And Ren Baker, the athletic director of WVU. Now, say what you will as Marshall fans about WVU. One thing that I will stand firm on is Ren Baker is a pretty good guy. He's a good athletic director. And he releases a statement. So here it is, statement from Vice President, Director of Athletics, Ren Baker. And this is in regards to the soccer matchup and the shenanigans that went on. It reads, at WVU's Sun Belt Conference Tournament semifinal men's soccer game last night against Marshall, an incident involving a fan and a Marshall player occurred immediately after the game. Fans coming into contact with visiting student athletes is unacceptable, and I want to apologize to Marshall, its men's soccer program, and its fans. The game was ultra competitive between two excellent soccer teams, and on behalf of WVU, I want to congratulate Marshall's team on the victory and wish them continued success in the postseason. Signed, Ren Baker. So he releases the statement, and I wasn't expecting anything less from him. Of course, right away, a lot of fans jumped him. A lot of fans are jumping him. Some are asking why he's apologizing. You know, shouldn't have to. It's not on him. And others are saying, hey, you need to do more, or hey, this wasn't enough. You know, there's a wide spectrum of takes on this statement that Ren released yesterday. I believe it was yesterday evening. But still, it's an important statement to make because he's right. Fans should not, especially if it's visiting student athletes, shouldn't have to. Tell people, hey, hands off? Hands off? Are we at that point where we need to remind fans? And it's not just WVU fans, it's all fans. Are we really at that point where we have to say, oh, by the way, hey, no hands on any fans. Or I'm sorry, any players. No hands on any players. Texter writes in, this is a little bit different. Texter says, Paul, the Herd's going to win tomorrow 31-21. All right, I like it. Close game, but it looks like it's in favor of the Thundering Herd. So a 10-point victory from one fan. You got your predictions? Get them in. 304-396-TALK, 303-996-8255. That's our number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. More coming up when we continue. Get those texts in now. This is The Drive.
Earn more with 4 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Polka Valley Bank. Polka Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 4%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by one of the 8 Polka Valley Bank locations today. Polka Valley Bank, where relationships matter.
Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield, subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Polka Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Hey, Tri-State. Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's.
Mark Twain Tonight. Emmy Award-winning actor Richard Thomas brings to life the nation's one true comic genius.
It's a comical invention, the human race, any way you look at it.
Join the millions who have cheered for the legendary one-man show by Hal Holbrook. Don't miss Mark Twain Tonight.
Out of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most.
Wednesday, December 3rd at the Joan C. Edwards Playhouse. For tickets, call the Martial Artist Series at 304-696-6656 or Ticketmaster.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-838-8822. That's 800-838-8822. 800-838-8822.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we were separated. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time. And had no idea how to find each other. My husband kept the kids tried calling our son, but there was no reception. Everything was down. I felt like breaking down and crying, but I had to try and stay calm. The whole experience was the most frightening 10 hours of my life. It was kind of like the nightmare every mother hopes will never happen to her. I remember the moment
relief of
that
being
I
together.
realized he was out there all alone. If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there,
it's to stay
it's
calm
don't ignore
and keep
this
to the
message.
plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. A public service announcement brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're wrapping up today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is still open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Texter writes in, wants to know, Paul, how did the soccer game sell out so fast? Season ticket holders get first right at tickets. And so when the word got back to Huntington instantly that Marshall was going to play host to UCF. We all saw it on the scoreboard at the Cam Henderson Center, or we were all watching the game. Marshall, by default, then being the last remaining high seed, instantly got to work knowing it was going to play host on Sunday. So what happened was the word went out, the email went out to season ticket holders. Hey, hope to see you there. You got first right for those tickets. Get them now. Boom. They sell out. That's the very, very short edition of that. So best way to secure tickets in the future when season tickets come open again, if there's any spots, I'd go ahead and get those. If you really want to go see Herd soccer, I'd get those season tickets. Not that expensive in relation to a lot of things, but yeah, there's going to be a big – I'm not sure if there's going to be any standing room only. I don't think there's going to be any standing room only to this one. I'm not sure. Texture says, Paul, I followed the buses to the airport and saw the team off. How do the other sports travel? It's not particular to charter or jumbo jet for the basketball team. I think you're seeing a little bit more attention being paid to basketball by the last two administrations. And I wouldn't want to bus them over there anyway. I mean, they're playing at noon tomorrow. And so this fountain ceremony was today, and then football's off, basketball's off. I think it's just you're trying to make sure that your student athletes have the ability to, not have to bus into that. I mean, it's not that far compared to, it's not like you're driving down to, say, Appalachian State, right? But at the same time, you're going to see that more and more, just trying to take better care of your teams. I know Dan D'Antoni was a big proponent of, hey, we got to travel better. And so I don't know if it's practical or not. I'm not making the travel arrangements, but you're going to see that more and more. Texture says, Paul, Del Rio couldn't have said it any better. They have to eliminate the mental errors. The offensive line has to protect the quarterback. It would be nice if they could read those Georgia State routes that they get some early picks. I believe they can do it. I believe the team knows that they can do it. They just have to stay focused, and they'll bring a victory to themselves. All right, appreciate the text. Yeah, I think that they're going to be very focused on Georgia State tomorrow. Texture says, Paul, when Cleveland football players jump into the dog pound with fans, they have their helmets on. Next time our guys should be given minor hats and practice singing Country Roads. I think you got to be careful. If you're on the road and your fans are outnumbered by the other fans, depending on where you're at, if you're in Morgantown, think twice about it. I'm just saying. But I don't think it's practical to put the minor hat on unless you are someone's waiting for you just to put the helmet on. I don't know if that's practical or not. But at the same time, I did hear the singing of Country Roads. The video was out there from the Marshall social media team. I'm tempted to have that as a ringtone for my phone. I want that as a ringtone for one of the Marshall SIDs. So when I hear Country Roads being sung by the soccer team, I know it's a particular SID. It's a particular member of the staff over there. But they do need a little practice. Wasn't that serious salt being rubbed in the womb? Because after all I hear is that singing Country Roads is the greatest college football tradition of all time. And I'm not going to call that member of the media out, but it's not. But at the same time, I mean, it's pretty cool. I'll give them that. Look, Country Roads, sure, it's a great song. Not necessarily about the state of West Virginia, but it's a great song nonetheless. I mean, they sing it at hockey matches. They sing it at basketball games that are not in West Virginia or involving West Virginia. They sing it in the NBA. They sing it in baseball. They sing it. I mean, can we stick to Neil Diamond, please, instead of John Denver? That would be a lot more preferable from my point of view. But no, it's a great, happy sing-along song, and the Marshall soccer team maybe needs to practice singing it more. It was salt. It was shade. It was super petty. And a lot of people are here for it. But Marshall WVU and soccer is not a rivalry. No, I don't know why are we even talking about it. It's not a rivalry at all. It's just another game. So thankful that they play that game. It's a great rivalry. Soccer is becoming, the Mountain State Derby is becoming my favorite interaction between the two schools. It's one of the few interactions, but it's one of my favorites nonetheless because it's always super competitive. And despite the shenanigans going on, the coaches respect each other, but they know, hey, this is a battle. There's history between the two coaches. I mean, there's definite a respect, a camaraderie, and it makes soccer all that more important in the state of West Virginia. Texture says, Paul, Marshall singing the song was the best version of Country Roads ever. Texture says, Paul, at the end of the Reagan movie, Country Roads. I'm just surprised No Country Roads is not chipped in yet on the text line. That's the name I've given one of my texters. He ends all his texts, No Country Roads. So I need his point of view on this. Where is he at right now? I met him a couple of weeks ago at the stadium at the West Lot. He came over real quick, introduced himself. Fantastic to see some of the faces behind some of you on the text line. So where's that guy at? No Country Roads. Where are you at? We need your advice on this. I think that's going to do it from the text line. We're out of time here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'll be back with you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Going to be at Giovanni's. We've got football and basketball to talk about as the Herd on the road. For football, taking on Georgia State, and basketball taking on Virginia. Should be a fun day of football and basketball. We got volleyball next week. We'll be talking about that. Sunday, we've got Marshall soccer playing for a championship. A lot going down for the Thundering Herd. And, of course, we'll have it all for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.